ExoMars is getting ready for its big day. The first phase of the mission, called the Trace Gas Orbiter, TGO, is on its way later this month to the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. That's the last stop before it launches to the Red Planet. The good news is TGO will arrive at Mars on time despite problems discovered a few months ago with devices aboard a lander demonstrator called Schiaparelli. TGO pushed to a later launch date in March, as opposed to January 2016, but the journey to Mars will be shorter. This mission will be the first of two exciting phases of Europe's ExoMars mission, as this will quickly be followed up by the launch of the ExoMars rover in 2018. Click through the slideshow to see TGO getting prepped for its journey in Europe. Electric field. Electrical subsystems were installed on TGO in November 2014. The gold cones you see at the top of the spacecraft are starlight baffles to help the star trackers, just below each cone, which are used to keep the spacecraft correctly oriented, point more precisely. The instruments for TGO were then mounted above and below the star trackers. This will ensure optimum alignment of the instruments with the trackers, regardless of thermally induced mechanical distortions in the main structure, ESA said in a statement. Power rush. Stretch. TGO's solar arrays were tested in May 2015. As you can tell by the size of the technician, these are large arrays of nearly 8 meters, roughly 26 feet. The arrays will be folded against the spacecraft during launch and will be deployed after it has reached a stable altitude in space. Solar arrays will be TGO's only source of power, but an onboard battery can store some power while the spacecraft orbits into Mars' shadow. Land home. TGO will also include a landing demonstration module called Schiaparelli, which is more formally known as the ExoMars Entry, Descent and Landing Demonstrator Module, EDM. You can see Schiaparelli sitting on top of a trolley here, nearby some technicians that are about to connect it with an overhead crane that will place the lander on top of the TGO. Schiaparelli will get a power boost from TGO before separating and flying into Mars' atmosphere by itself. Piggyback ride. Here you can actually see Schiaparelli being installed on top of TGO. While Schiaparelli takes a quick ride to Mars' surface to test out landing technologies for future missions and search for methane, TGO will stay above to communicate with the lander during its brief mission. TGO's long-term goal is both to study Mars' atmosphere, and to act as a communications relay for the ExoMars rover, expected to leave Earth in 2018. Cooking up science. Here is TGO inside of a thermal chamber to simulate how the spacecraft will work in conditions similar to the real space environment. In particular, they verify how the module behaves as the temperature changes in high vacuum, space-like conditions, and how the module reaches thermal equilibrium, ESA wrote at the time.